This is exactly when Christianity will be toppled as religious majority in America as Islam rises. Daily Mail story: for decades, reciting the Pledge of Allegiance was a daily reminder that the U.S. was one nation under God, but the Christian faith that once defined American values is on track to lose its majority status by 2070. According to a Pew Research, 62% of Americans say that Christians now, compared to around 90% in 1970. Damn. That is a 28% drop-off. If the current trend continues, Pew projects it could fall to 46% by 2070, a decline that has Pastor Brent Madris and other religious leaders sounding the alarm. Madris of Hometown Hope Ministries called for an urgent call for church renewal on his blog, warning that Christian communities have taken their eyes off the ball. The decline comes from as other religions, most notably Islam, continue to grow in the U.S. There are roughly 100,000 more Islams annually, while there are around 2 million fewer Christians. Muslims still remain a small minority with around 4 million followed compared to 200 million Christians, but their commitments are shaping differently on the ground. The number of mosques increased 31% from 2010 to 2020, from 2106 to 2769, according to the Islamic Resource Center. Meanwhile, roughly 1,500 Christian churches closed during that same period. Islam's growth in the U.S. being fueled by Muslims currently has a younger median age of 35 versus 54 for Christians, suggesting youth adherence could accelerate the religion growth in 2017. The center estimated immigration was also involved driving the boom. And in February, CBS found that tens of thousands of Americans in prison convert to Islam every year. Adam, thoughts?
Well, Christians, I'm rooting for you guys, because if you don't wake up and actually get it together, there's a little religion that's started in the Middle East around 600-something AD, and they're coming for you, buddy. Because what I will respect about Islam, they are not shy. They will tell you straight to your face on a microphone, in public, we are coming. We're trying to take over. We're trying to do Sharia law. We're trying to do jihad. We're coming to take your churches and turn them into mosques. They've said it on camera with a microphone. It's not a secret. So for me, you see Islam rising, Christianity fading, and everyone wants to focus on the Jews, who are less than 1% of the world. So to me, I would love to see Christians have a revival. We've seen sort of a stopgap with people start after Charlie Kirk. What happened? God forbid, God bless. Going to church again, reading the Bible again, becoming more religious. But the trend was going so far down that it almost had to stop at some point. But America is a Christian country founded on Judeo-Christian values. And I think a lot of people have issues with things like the call to prayer five times a day. Texas Governor Abbott just banned Sharia law. You're going to start seeing these things pop up. The most tangible, palpable thing that bothers me is when you have someone like Ilhan Omar, a Somalian Muslim, attack the President of the United States, or attack someone like Charlie Kirk and said that he will be forgotten in the dustbins of history. To me, that is so disrespectful and disgusting. And she has the right to do that because she married her brother or something happened, and now she's a sitting congresswoman in Little Mogadishu, Somalia, Minnesota. But that is the prime example of what people are scared of the United States. Someone like Ilhan Omar running the country over someone like Charlie Kirk.
Vinny.
And it is concerning.
I think that stat is right, Pat. And it's not because Islam is taking over. It's because Christians stop fighting for what they believed in, okay? It gets me sick to my stomach that we help everybody all over the world. BLM goes in the streets for a freaking junkie crackhead who held a gun to a pregnant girl's stomach, burned down the whole city. But when you have actually black lives getting murdered and massacred in Nigeria, where are they at? Where's the marching? Where's the burning down? Where's the attitude, okay? And look around, Pat. I know we see it. God is erased in everything. Every time you talk about God, it's out of schools, it's out of courts. Like, people used to bow their heads at games and stuff like that. Now they just bow their knees for that woke BS, okay? And you have a Muslim guy that's about to take over New York. You talked about Minneapolis, okay? They're getting swallowed by moral decay. And still, Christians, what are they doing, Tom? Just quiet. And let's be clear, guys. Islam is not the problem. Like you said, their people are committed. They pray, they teach, they stand. The problem is us. It's the Christians who've been ashamed of their own faith, okay? The ones who are too afraid to speak up because they're busy chasing comfort instead of conviction. And I'm telling you, Pat, that number, and again, people are like, well, you guys are going to be dead. Who gives a damn? No, that's not. If we don't stand up now, I'm telling you, your kids and your kids' kids are going to be screwed. Done deal.
54-35. That's the age difference, which means they're younger like Mamdanis.
Yep.
There's a bunch of Mamdanis that are coming up that they're going to be inspiring more Mamdanis and gradually taking over the number one financial capital in the world, New York City, which is quite of a big deal. Can you imagine if you were a strategist for Muslim church and you said, I want to find a way to take over America. What city should we target? Why don't we target the financial capital of the world, New York City? Boom. And they're about to get it.
Yep.
So guess what? Whoever that strategist was, you're doing a great job. You're making progress. Here's Mehdi Hassan, a story by Daily Caller, and then Tom, I'm going to come to you on this story. Mehdi Hassan has a tantrum as Americans inform him they don't want Islamic call to prayer in their neighborhoods. This is a Daily Caller story. Rob, if you want to play the clip, here's Mehdi Hassan.
I think that if you can play church bells, you can pray the call to prayer. We are as American as anyone else, and don't take any BS from anyone.
Okay, that's such
that
BS.
was a short clip. Do you have a longer clip of that?
That was the only clip that I could find.
Oh no, there's a 1 minute version of that on that clip that I think it's good for everybody to see because I want him to say the rest of it so you kind of hear where he's going with that. But former MSNBC host Mehdi Hassan lashed out on Americans against the defense of Islamic prayer. The Islamic call to prayer is broadcast 5 times daily and serves as a prominent auditory reminder of faith across Muslim communities. Hassan went on extended rant on X, blasting that he called right-wing intolerance and claiming Muslim Americans face growing hostility from conservatives. I think that if you can play church bells, Hassan can be heard saying in a video that was circulated on social media. Republican Texas Representative Brandon Gill quoted the video showing Hassan making those comments on the same day, sparking an exchange between two. Hassan responded by pointing out that Gill's wife is Indian-American and the daughter of an immigrant. The congressman's father-in-law is prominent Christian conservative documentary filmmaker Dinesh D'Souza. Gill, in return, responded to Hassan, pointing out that his wife is a Christian who doesn't want to hear your oppressive Muslim prayer calls. So is that the longest one you see, Rob? There's not a longer one on that? Is that it?
Yeah.
Tom, where are you at with this? What are you thinking with this?
So if you look at the numbers and you draw a chart, you get exactly the conclusion that they're presenting. And really you have to put in front of it, if the current trends continue at this date, you will have more Muslims, self-identified Muslims than self-identified Christians in America. Okay, yeah, you can draw it that way. But that means everything stays the same. But things aren't necessarily staying the same. A study by the Barna Group last year and the year before says that there are more youth conversions to Christ and Christianity in the U.S. than there are older people. But there is an older group, so the average age, as the article correctly points out, is higher. It's the war for the youth. And there are signs of definitive change coming, but we need to cultivate it. We need to encourage it, and we need to push it harder, and we need to be intentional about it. 5 calls to prayer a day is very intentional. Getting those clerics and everything and pushing so hard on cities, that's very intentional. Christians need to be equally intentional, but what's very interesting is those younger generations are turning in greater numbers than the older generations. So if all holds constant, we're going to go there. We're going to go right where the article says. But if we have to drive and we have to be as intentional and we have to be as caring. And why are we doing it? We're not doing it because we want more people to eat chicken versus beef in some arbitrary decision. That's not what it is. This is a war for eternity and a war for souls. And so if we want to be, the Great Commission, in Matthew 28, at the very, very last thing that Jesus says, go into all the world. He says, share my name, convert people, baptize them, and tell them everything as I've commanded you. And so he's like, go, make, baptize, teach, obey. Those are the verbs in Matthew 28. And so are we taking that seriously? Are we being intentional? Things are happening with the youth. Charlie Kirk was having a huge and positive impact on the youth. Perhaps the tragedy is like Romans 8:28, I will make good out of every situation for my own purposes. And it may not be good as you define it on earth. So if nothing changes, Pat, the article's right. But we have to be intentional and push, and there are things that are happening that we need to ride on and push even harder.
And this is the Mehdi Hassan who tweeted but took it down because he's a coward. Make American planes crash again. Do you remember that? This is who he is. And Mehdi, if you don't like it, and guess what, your Muslim prayer, guess what? Go back to England where you're from. That place is basically becoming just Muslim. If that's what you want, go there. This is a Christian nation, okay?
Londonistan.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, bro. Go do your nonsense over there and talking all that crap here. No, I'm not playing that game. Christians need to stand up, bro. And because they think like, no, God will take care of it. No, it's our job.
By the way, just basic data, Tom. Nothing more, nothing less. Muslims are having more kids, okay? Muslims are playing offense. Muslims are extremely intolerant. God forbid you say something about them. The guy in Dearborn said, I cannot wait for you to be kicked out of the city or leave the city. And on that day, I will make a parade and celebrate.
Yep.
And didn't even apologize about it, right? You remember that guy that in Dearborn that's taking place. You got Ilhan Omar. You got Rashida Tlaib. You got Mamdani, New York City. You pull up in other countries that are Muslim majority countries, many of these countries, you can't run for office. You can't go become
a Christian.
You cannot as a Christian. So, but in America, we're a little bit too tolerant in this. And by the way, numbers work against you. Fully work against you. If you want to be okay with this, it's inevitable that if they have more kids and more people come here and they're not like pro-America, like it's not like, let me do what the Western way of doing business is. No, I want to impose my way of thinking. If you tolerate it, eventually there's going to be a fall. And what you're seeing right now with UK will very simply happen here. The biggest challenge in life sometimes is you see somebody else is going through something. I'll never forget, one of my guys had a very public divorce, and it was nasty. Another guy came up to me and he said, well, you see what happened? That was your boy. Look what he's doing. He was a Christian this. He was a Christian that. And I told you all this stuff that the guy's saying about the other guy.
Be careful.
I said, be very careful bragging about the fact that you think you have a better life because it's going to come back to you. Exactly a couple years later, the same thing happened to him. Exactly a couple years later, the same thing happened to him. Life is a very weird thing. So if we're sitting here watching everything that's going on in UK, it'll never happen to us. 20, 30 years later, how the hell did it happen to you? Were you not blind? Did you not see what was taking place? I'm excited for 2026. I think 2026 is going to be the greatest year of my lifetime in America. You know, America's turning 250. World Cup's coming here. President Trump's turning 80. We're going to have multiple times rates going lower. I think the IPO market's going to open up. And Vinny and I, we were out. I was looking at Vinny outside yesterday. I don't know what was going on. So I'm walking outside. Vinny's looking at the sky. I'm like, Vinny, what are you doing? Obviously, we're living, we have 11 acres of land we own right on the airport. So I was concerned. I walked up. Watch what Vinny was doing in this video. Go ahead, Rob. Great pose.
Come on.
Hey, Vinny.
What's up, Pat?
What are you doing?
Waiting.
Waiting for what?
Business plan.
Come from Sky.
That's what people told me. It works
That's not how it works.
Work for Newton.
That's not how it works. On December 12th, I host an event called the Business Planning Workshop, where we go through this entire manual together on how to write a business plan based on 12 building blocks.
Okay.
All you have to do is click on a link below.
Okay.
Get registered. December 12th, we'll be together all day.
All right, so can we go eat right now? Because I've been here for
let's
4
go.
hours waiting like
for
an
the
idiot.
sky. So if you're like Vinny waiting for a business plan to fall from sky,
Still waiting.
Don't do that. December 12th, come join myself and tens of thousands of people together that will be going through exactly the way I write the business plan based on 12 building blocks. If you haven't yet registered, click on a link below, Rob. If you can give them you can find out whatever ticket you want to go with. You can zoom in, not show your face. You can zoom in, be with everybody else. Thousands of other people will see your face and I'll be able to interact with you. Or you can be there live with us and call and find out more about that. But at the lowest one, you can get registered for $297 full day and you'll get a 200-page workbook. Click on a link below. Get yourself, your wife, your friends, family, salespeople, executive team. Watch this business plan workshop together to assemble to a Rob. Let's please put the link below for that. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.